In this tutorial, I will show you how to create a Zenreader project, import documents into that project, take notes on those documents, and then export all of your work. I'm assuming that you've already created your account and that you have downloaded and installed the software and successfully logged in. So once we have logged in, for the first time, I will see an empty screen without any projects. I can then proceed and create a new project, and the first step is to choose a title. By default, Zenreader saves all of your projects in your user's home folder under Zenreader projects, and you can configure this to choose a different location. A project, as I mentioned, contains all of the documents, all of the notes, and the work that you do as part of that project. So once I hit create, I will now see this project and that this has been added to my list of projects. I can then click on this to open this project. Once the project has been opened, we will see a lot of other screens available within Zenreader. So let me explain these screens briefly and how to navigate the user interface. So I'll expand the menu, and at the top we see the project dashboard, which is where we have all the list of the projects, and the current open project is highlighted in green. The document screen shows me all of the documents that are part of this project and that I have imported in the project. And this might also include references that do not have a PDF document attached to it. The reader screen is where we open PDF documents and read them, making all of the highlights, notes, and extracting of information. The outline screen is where we combine all of the highlights and work that we have done by creating more advanced notes, and I will show this in a separate tutorial. We also have a task screen, so as we work in a project, sometimes we get ideas and we want to capture these ideas and thoughts as things that we might want to act upon. And finally, we have the reporting screen where I can see a log of all of the work that I've done as part of this project. And then we have a quick add button, which once I click, opens a pop-up panel, which allows me to quickly add content to this project. And we have a preferences screen where I can change and modify my settings. A help button, which gives me quick access to all of the supporting documentation and tutorials. And that's about it. So I'll proceed and collapse the menu and hide it so that we have more space. So now that we have created an empty project, I will go ahead and import a couple of documents in this project. So I hit the import button, I choose files, this opens my file system. I have a couple of documents that are available and ready for me to use that I have already downloaded, so I'll proceed and select them. Before I add the documents into the project, I can see a summary of what I'm about to do, and I'm happy with this, so I'll proceed and add these two documents. Zenreader takes a few seconds to analyze and scan the content of the documents first in order to be able to find text and hopefully detect the bibliographic information. Once I've added these documents, I can select one of these two documents and I can see the details of the document and the bibliographic information. I will show you how to set the bibliographic information in case it's not automatically detected. So I proceed and double-click on the document, which opens it and takes me directly into the reader screen. I can also open other documents by hitting the plus button here in the tab bar, and I can see that the other document is available, and by clicking on it, I'll open this in a separate tab. The PDF reader is a bit of a standard PDF reader. I can search for text, I can select text, but we have a few very neat tools that help with note-taking and with setting the bibliographic information. I can select some text on the document by clicking and holding and releasing. When I release the button, a highlight panel comes up. Through the highlight panel, I can choose one of the default highlight colors to complete the operation. So let me pick green. and select this text in green. What you will see here is the markings panel. And if this is not open by default, you can go to the top here. And by clicking on the button here, you can hide or show the markings panel. A marking is a highlight, and we have a few very useful tools here for you. You can add more thoughts and comments to what you have just selected. So you can also choose to paraphrase the text or fix some of the selection issues. So the paraphrasing is particularly useful when you select a large chunk of text from a document, but you just want to capture the main essence and make use of this in your output and reports. Now, I will show you how to highlight in different other modes. So at the moment, from the toolbar, we are in a text selection mode. I want to show you the image selection mode. So by clicking on that button, we switch into image mode. And this allows us to click on an area of the document, and by holding the mouse button down, I can drag an area over an image. Once I release the button, the highlight panel comes up again, and I can choose again a color. And this will proceed with extracting the image for me. One of the most powerful features in Zenreader is the ability to create tags and apply tags to the highlights so that all of the notes that I'm taking from different documents are grouped together by topic. So let us open the tag panel at the moment, and I want to create two tags. I'll click the plus button and choose a tag for theory, so that I can highlight text that references the theory of a paper. And I can choose another color for methodology, for example. And in this case, I will pick green. Once we have a couple of tags created, we can proceed and select some text. And once we bring up the highlight panel, these two tags that we just created are available. We can also add a tag directly here, or when we have many tags, we can filter and find the one that we're really interested in. So in this case, I'm going to pick methodology for this highlight, and I'll pick the theory for this other part of the text. And what you can see here in the marking sidebar is that that text that I just highlighted in the document is now tagged with the methodology or the theory. I will now proceed to fill in the bibliographic information for these two documents, and we will jump back into the tutorial once that is done. I have proceeded to add the bibliographic reference information for both of these documents. So I filled the bibliographic reference panel, and I can also see, if I expanded the citation bit, that the citation is correctly generated at the moment. If I go back to the document screen, I can see that the additional bibliographic information gives me more information now on this panel. I can also visually see what tags I have used in the notes and markings of this document. So let me go into the other document that doesn't have any highlights. So if we click the document markings, this is empty. And I'll make a couple of theory highlights. So as you can see, this document has two markings. If we switch into the other document, this one has 4. And I can see all of the 6 markings by clicking the All Markings tab. And these are organized by document. Now that I've made some highlights and work, I want to export this. And so that I continue my work by writing a report or an essay or a paper. So I just need to hit the Export Markings button. And this brings me to the export function. I can choose an output format, in which case I will select PDF. In this example, I want to group all of my notes by tag so that I have all of the content under methodology in one place, all of the content for theory in one place. And I do want to include all of the comments I have made. Because I have bibliographic information available as well, I do want the export to include citations inline in my document and include a bibliography at the end. I can then click export, choose a file to save and the location where I want to save the export, and I'll choose desktop. And once the export is done, the file is generated and I can click and open this. As you can see, the report has grouped all of my notes by highlight color, and all of the text is there, whether it's paraphrased, and all of the text also has the inline citation so that I know exactly that this text came from this document, and at the bottom we have a full bibliography. This wraps up the basic tutorial. We have a selection of other tutorials and documentation available to you so that you can really learn how to make the most out of this software.